So I mean, gaming is still big here, especially online gaming. One of the first questions I often get from students, at least one time this happened, is they want to know, like, what computer games do you play? What computer games do you play? And they want to know what online games I play, which I don't really do.
Yeah.
And someone were asking about Warcraft, World of Warcraft. I'm like, no, I played, like, Warcraft 2. Like, they asked me what race I play.
Did they ask you if you want to buy some gold?
Maybe. I kind of think that's like what they do and what free time they have is they're on World of Warcraft farming gold and selling it or whatever else. But yeah, one student in class. Yes. Yes.
Child labor just isn't what it used to be.
No. But yeah, I had a student asking me. I told him, I played Warcraft 2 years ago, and he misinterpreted that as World of Warcraft. And he kept asking me, what race do you play? What race do you play? And I'm like, no, I don't play. He's like, no, what race do you play? And I'm like, human, please. Okay, yeah. But yeah, it's still a big thing here. But it's more, I think, PC oriented, more so than any consoles, just because they can't get them, basically. Unless you count the V. Have you seen the V? The knockoff of the Wii? No, it does exist. The V. Yeah, it's out there. And Nintendo also is not called Nintendo. It's actually iQ is like their local distributor here. I think maybe because if they called it Nintendo, there'd be like anti-Japanese boycotts or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting situation. They've got this ban. A lot of people think it's kind of dumb, but no one wants to propose to change it. So I don't know where I'm supposed to buy games here. I don't know. I'll have to look around, see what they've got. But yeah, that's gaming in China right now. I'll try to do some more research on that and see what I can find out. Oh, I forgot one thing, which is the other way they get around the law. They do have what's called the iQ Player, which is basically an N64 controller with a game built into it that plugs in directly to the TV, and that is considered legal. The N64 is not, but a N64 controller with an N64 built into it is okay.
I've got one of those.
Yeah, you've got one. I've seen them for sale at markets.
Yeah, well, I have one of those ones that are an N64 controller with a Famicom on the bottom of it, so you can shove Famicom games in it and play it directly from there.
Yeah. So that's okay. That's like a loophole in the law. It's not really a console then. So
that's a very strange law. Like, is it just a problem of like lawmakers not understanding that computer games and portable games are the same thing as console games? Or
I'm sure.
I don't know for sure. Yeah, it's good. I'm gonna have to look up more information. Yeah, what the exact rationale.
The law,
but basically Chinese law is constructed out of loopholes, kind of duct taped together, I think is how it works. So that's how they do things here. Yep, that's China. So
crazy.
Sorry, it's getting noisy again. Sorry.
It's okay. But yes, China. Do they have video games in China?
We were just discussing this. Where were you?
And they make them here too. Funny thing, no Facebook in China, but there are a lot of companies making Facebook games in China. So, yeah. And there are some RPGs that come out of China. Nihon Falcom publishes them in Japan sometimes. They translate them for the Japanese market. I have not actually tried to play them.
It is interesting to hear about video games internationally.
Yeah, I know Matt Jonas is posting quite frequently on the website about how European releases often take a lot longer to get to come to Europe than they do to the U.S. or Japan. Apparently, not as long as it takes for them to get to China, though.
Well, I mean, I've heard all kinds of things about the names of games in different countries and like the stuff that they had to do to get them in or whatever. And was it Contra is called Probotector in Australia or something like that?
Yes. And the classic ninja was like a banned word. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles became Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think in China they've got some pretty strict content standards. So yeah, I haven't seen how that applies to gaming yet. But you have to check that out.
Yeah, and it is interesting, however, games that didn't get released here in the States that did get released in Europe or other countries.
Yeah, Terra Enigma. I think that made it to Europe. Maybe not.
Yeah,
the
that's
sequel,
what I...
Illusion of Gaia.
Yeah, and...
Oh, they came out a sequel?
It did, and it's very good. It actually is very good.
Oh, wow.
It's technically not really a sequel. It's a continuation of concept, but not really
Spiritual successor.
That's the one where you play as a kid, and then sometimes he turns into a really big guy and hits stuff. Is that all correct?
Illusion of Gaia.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Speaking in very vague terms, but it's been 15 years since I played it. That's what I remember.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the sequel is, or again, more of a successor is pretty good. Terra Enigma. If you like action RPGs, I'd say it's more polished even than Illusion of Gaia.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it made it to Europe. It didn't make it to the U.S., but I think it got to Japan. Maybe I'm lying again. Let's find out.
It was developed in Japan, and I used to actually know the original name for it. Terra Enigma actually has nothing to do with what the original name said.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Terra Enigma was what they called it in Europe, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it did make it to Europe. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but there was a few really late SNES games that came out in Europe, but not over here. I remember someone reviewed The Fireman or something like that.
Oh yeah, wow. That's a nice old school reference. That was Rick L. reviewed that back in the day, I think. Oh no, sorry, that was Carl.
Carl.
No, that makes a big difference to longtime GameCola readers.
It was Carl? I thought it was Fred Monkey.
Carl Houghton?
It was Carl.
Lofi
Okay.
Carl?
Not Lofi Carl.
But yes, and that looked like a really neat game. I was actually when I saw that, it's like, why did that not come over here? You know?
We hate fire.
The name seeed very sexist. Firemen? Come on.
Do you think that's what did it?
Fire
Sure.
persons.
Yeah.
I think they should have had a good virtual console post 9/11 release. We've loved firemen since then.
Actually, it's about time to be wrapping up here.
How the time flies.
Okay.
So, are there any things left to say, or are we about good to wrap on up?
Well, before we get going, I would like to encourage everyone to check out our Facebook page, like us there, because that makes us very happy. Just search for GameCola. Also, check us out on Twitter. We're at GameCola. Our YouTube channel is GC, the letters GC, and then the words .net. And if you like the podcast, I would encourage you, if you're not already, to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, review us, rate us very highly. Do not rate us poorly, because our egos can't take that. Oh, and we actually have a website, too. You may be aware of this, GameCola.net. Lots of stuff on it, articles.
Spelled with an actual dot, unlike our YouTube page.
Yes. The letter dot.
It's not just one word, GameCola.net. There's a period in there.
GameCola.net.com.
Complicated.
Yeah, go to the site. It has reviews, it has columns, it has comics, it has podcasts, and it's awesome.
Right. Well, I think this has been a very good and successful podcast. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I was Alex Jedraszczak, here with the Franzen, Seaport, the Hoover Dam, Green Machine, and D-Dons.
Yes,
That was
I will.
terrible. Terrible.
I feel like I should be wrestling.
D-Dons!
Are you guys complaining about your nicknames?
Oh no, I like it.
I'll accept it. It'll work.
I'm just glad I'm not the Hoover Dam.
Me too.
It's not very flattering.
Maybe we need nicknames in quotation marks, like David Thunderbolt Donovan, that kind of thing. I don't know.
Well, here, next time you can host the podcast, and then you
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
pick up nicknames for everybody.
I guess
All right,
that's
I'll
how it
think of
works.
this one. Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you,
welcome.
Jetty.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah. This has been GameCola podcast number 35. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, no, really, we need to stop.
Now that they're gone.
Oh.
Time for the
Wow.
real podcast.
Wow.